And then when you watch me do it for you on several deals, you kind of go, I got this. Okay, and that's where you really pick it up. Unlike probably every coach out there, they don't show you how to do all this. Yeah. All right, so let's do one. Somebody throw out a sales price. All right, so seller, you, and then you, buyer. Okay? So 135, and we do our due diligence to find out, is the house even worth 135? Let's say that it's worth 130. Or do you want to have equity? You want one with equity first? To show you a real good deal? Let's say the house is worth 150. Now, there's a lot of reasons why you'd sell it for 135. What could be one of the reasons? Condition of the property, right? It's not worth 150 in its current condition. Now, it could be worth 150 if you put a little money into it, right? Except we're not going to put any money into it. Let's say that we got to give the seller $2,000 down, okay? And let's say that they want $1,000 a month. How long do we want to go with the seller? As long as possible, right? So I'll just put 3 years, make it simple. What else? What am I missing? It's right there. What am I missing? There's one piece we're missing in the offer. Who said it? Very good. The monthly credit. Remember that part? Oh, yeah, that, right? How much monthly credit do we want? Yeah, keep it at 100 just to be legit. Not with the new buyer. Not with the new buyer. When you're staying in the middle, you can do it all day long with the seller because you're not going to screw the seller because you're making money that way. You just don't want the new buyer to have it. Okay? So there's our terms. How much did we say it was worth? 150, right? So what do we sell this for? Can we sell it for 150? How about 155? Wouldn't you agree if you ever finance anything, you're going to pay more for it? Are they technically kind of financing it? They're buying it on terms? They're going to pay a little bit more. Just like you guys are paying more for everything except this 2-day class. You're paying way down. All right, so how much money could we get down on a $155,000 house? 10? Could you get 10? Pretty easy? Fast? Then why not go 15? Huh? And if they didn't have 15, they say I have 12. Okay, 12 will work. All right, so what about the monthly? Do you want to do this where that is what the rental rate is, or do we want to say that maybe the rental rate was $100 more than that? Just so you see cash flow coming out of it. So if the rental rate is $1,100, I probably would charge $1,200. Okay? Now, how many years are we going to go?
1 year.
Why? Why? Remember, you got to know the whys. How long is a typical lease? 6 months or a year. If you go over that, a judge could say that that's not a lease agreement. That's why. Okay? So now, could you do a renewal period of another 12 months? Sure. Could you let them leave if they don't buy and do it all over again and make more money? Right. Could you extend the agreement, the original agreement? Yes. You have options. That's what we talk about controlling real estate. You have options, okay? They can. That's up to you. You could say, look, that $15,000 was good for just this year. If you want to extend it, that's going to cost you another $5,000. But keep in mind, you got to be careful with that because all of that money's got to be deducted here. You can't go below this, right? Because what are we going to owe the seller? So you got to be careful not to go below that 133. That's like saying, well, I have a buyer that could put down $30,000. Could you take $30,000 on this? Well, I mean, you could, but the numbers aren't going to work out very good, right? Because now I've got to give money to the seller now out of that 30. Okay? Let me go through the whole example and then. What about a monthly credit? Zero. All right, so tell me, where's our first profit center? Okay, what's the dollar amount in the down payment? $13,000, right? So 15 minus 2, right? So when do you make that? Right now. Today. Okay? What's our second profit center? Right? So 200 times 12 months is 2,400. And then our last one is sales price difference. So how much are we going to make on the sales price? All you do is take 135 minus 2. We owe the seller 133. Okay? Hold on. Let me finish this. 155 minus 15 equals? So we're going to make the difference between 140 and 133, which is another 7,000. Oh, okay, so you're catching on, right? So now what do we really owe the seller? So minus $1,200, right? Okay, so we would need to back out $1,200 here, right? I mean, add $1,200 to it. Okay, so we're going to make another 30, or that's going to be $3,600, right? So how much did we make in 1 year? It's just addition. 23,600, right? So you just made $23,600 on a house you don't even own. Did you live in the house? How much money do you have in it? What's the return on investment on that deal? Okay, so you understood the 13, but so in monthly, we made $2,400, right? Which is $200 a month for 12 months, okay? And then we made $7,000, but we also need to add $1,200 to that for the monthly credits, because this is going to lower the 133, which is going to increase the number between these two. Sure. We're assuming that the buyer's buying it. Okay? Who's lost? Okay, where are you lost? Hold on. This was the easy one first. So let's start over, because I want you to get this. Okay? I really want you guys to hammer this out. Our first profit center would be what? The difference in down payment. We're paying the seller 2, but we're getting 15. So once we get the 15, we're then paying the 2. We made how much? 13,000. Second profit center is the difference in monthly rent. $200 a month times 12 months, remember it's a 1-year term, is 2,400. And then our last profit center is the difference in sales price. So remember, we paid the seller on time for 1 year. So we're getting a $100 rent credit deducted from the purchase price when we buy. So if you take 135 minus the down payment we gave them, that equals 133, and then we got to subtract 1,200 for our monthly credits, and then we're going to owe them how much? 131.8. So then take the difference between 131.8 and what the new buyer is actually buying the property for. So they're buying it for 155 minus the 15. They owe me 140. So take 140 minus 131.8. Does that make sense? Good? So 8,200. And that came out to what, 23,600? When you add up all 3 profit centers. So when I go through the contract, even though we sign the agreement today, the commencement date won't be for 30 days, 60 days from now. That gives you time to put the buyer in. Yes. Or I can legally back out of the deal if I can't find a buyer. Subject to something like that, yeah. Which we're going to get in, when we get into contracts, we're going to talk about that. So, Yeah, all I want you guys to really focus on is exactly what I'm doing right now. Because I know it's easy to kind of get steered off. And if you get this, then we move to the next. It's like, oh, okay, gotcha. Remember, this is a big subject. But it's not difficult, but it's difficult if you don't know it, okay? I will definitely put money down if I have a bunch of equity in this house after the fact. But I have put money up front on good deals. Like, I don't want to lose this deal. I'm going to do it right now. Think about this. This isn't just a way for you guys to stay in the middle, put two people together. Isn't this a way for you to acquire real estate? Instead of going down to the bank, begging for all that money, putting 20% down, think of it as a way of investing in real estate with very little money. Don't